Howdy folks, and I hope the 1/6 scale gods are smiling on you wherever you are in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And let's prepare to get divisive, because today we're going to be getting up close and personal with Hot Toys 2.0 version of their grail battle damaged T-800, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, from James Cameron's 1991 classic Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Usual format folks, we will be taking a quick look at the box, then it'll be out with the accessories, then the figure itself, and we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the showcase at the end. But before we dive in, I'd like to send the usual HK size shout out to everyone who supported the channel. And please drop a like and hype on this video, as it helps other people find Go Figure. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're sure not to miss any of the 1/6 scale news, reviews, previews and showcases and all that other good stuff that we've got coming up. It's also worth mentioning at this point as well, although the DX13 will inevitably get a mention during this review, we're going to be reviewing the figure itself on its own merits and doing a full compare and contrast video of the DX13 in a separate video, which will be going live on the channel pretty much straight after this one, so stay tuned for that. But enough of my robotic ramblings, let's take a quick look at this box, let's stop it from spinning. And it is a big box, and it's great to see Hot Toys actually packaging it this way. From a personal perspective, a lot of their DX figures recently have been packaged in those slipcover designs with the windowed section at the front there, and they don't have that premium special feel to me. I'm old school, and I remember the days when DX figures came in boxes like these, so it's welcome to this old collector to see they've gone above and beyond with the packaging. What you've got is this sort of bookcase type design with this section sliding out here. It's a really high quality, thick stock card that they've used in this box. On the front, you've got a stylized picture of the head of the figure itself, and it's all done in this sort of black and red scale. It says T2, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, T-800, all in that super reflective silver foil lettering. Battle damage version, version 2.0, DX14, Hot Toys DX. And around the sides, just a continuation of that pattern from the front there, T-800 again, Terminator 2 Judgment Day DX. Around the other side, all red this side, this is the section that slides out, T2 again, repetition of what's on the left hand side basically. Around the back, well, let's take a look on the top. On the top it just says T2 Judgment Day, heavy box this one, and it's literally just come through the door, brand new in, and gone straight in front of the camera. Yeah, credits and warnings on the back, usual stuff there, everybody involved in the production of the figure and the usual warnings. Don't piss this figure off, or it might be back for a version 3.0. So without further ado, let's slide this section out and take a look at the rest of the box. Okay, so once you slide the inner section out, you are greeted with the usual foam inlay card with the card section across the top protecting the figure, and very nicely done it is too. On the right hand side you've got a shot of the head sculpt from the figure with the glowing eye, and on the left hand side you've got another shot of the figure on the diorama base. It says T2 at the top there, T-800, little quote at the bottom there, come with me if you want to live. You lift that card, that foam back card off, and underneath you've got the old style DX covering with that slip cover across the front. It says T2 in the top right hand corner, you've got the targeting system there, 100% charged, all done in this deep red, which is really nice. Just another shot of the targeting on the left hand side, and on the right hand side that T-800 as we saw before. Rest of the box is just done in this red fashion. You've got this slip cover on the front, and we'll just see if that will come off. And when you lift that slip cover off, you're greeted with the figure itself. And not only are you greeted with the figure, but you are greeted with the smell of new leather, which is very, very pleasing indeed. But yeah, you've got all the accessories laid out there. I'm assuming the diorama stand is behind there. So yeah, that is the box, and the very, very nice packaging it is too. So in time on tradition, let's do what we always do. Let's dive down onto the table, let's get all those accessories out and have a look at everything that comes with this 2.0 Terminator. Okay folks, so accessories out. What do you get with your version 2.0 T-800? Well, you get a shit ton of stuff, which is great to see. This is what we want, or at least this is what I want to see with the DX figure anyway. So, mundane stuff first. You get a set of instructions, as always with Hot Toys figures. I recommend you have a look at them. You've got button cell batteries to fit, and there's all kinds of bits and pieces going on, constructing dioramas and so on. So yeah, they're there for reference. You also get a spare pair of wrist pegs, great to see, and some buttons included for these wonderful leather jackets. So good inclusion. Let's take a look at the hands. I'm going to try and avoid mentioning the DX13 as much as possible in this review because we've got that comparison video coming up, but these hands look pretty similar. You get 8 hands in total, 4 pairs. Let's grab a couple at random. You've got thumbs up hands, you've got fisted hands, you've got weapon holding hands, all manner of stuff going on here, but let's get this this hand into camera so we can take a look at the details here. Great sculpt. And that paint application to give it that leather look are fantastic. This creasing at the wrist section there, the detailing is picked out in the gloves there, the seams on the gloves and the fingers as well. But most importantly here is the battle damage, and you've got gouges in these and rips in these gloves, and there's exposed flesh underneath. There's also exposed metal, which is picked out with that chrome paint application, and you've got that sort of red wet look blood paint application going on as well, not just on the rips and the tears themselves, but also around the holes as well, which gives it that look like you've got blood onto the leather as well. So yeah, you've got this hand, a pistol gripping hand with the end of the finger missing as well. Let's grab another one at random, and you can also see knuckles there with the chrome paint application coming through, as I mentioned before, and overall, yeah, very, very nicely done. Fisted hand there. Let's do the flexibility test. We're looking at a medium, so gripping accessories shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, that's your hands. Let's pop those to one side. Let's take a quick look at the weapons. Now, pistol, first of all, one piece of sculpted plastic, well, a couple of pieces of sculpted plastic, very nicely done, screen accurate in proportion. You've got that black slide across the top with a cocking action, so if you're wanting to go for those poses of him reloading, you can. Nice detailing on the grip there with that sort of gold studded section there, that brass studded section. And removable magazine, as always, with sculpted and painted in bullets. Great to see. So that's the handgun. I'm not seeing an awful lot of variance here between the 13. I promise not to mention it again. The grenade launcher, very nicely done. All sculpted plastic. This one, you've got that weathering at the end of the stock there, which is nice to see, with some sort of brown paint applications going on in there to pick out the weathered detail. The plastic section here has been painted with that wood effect, which looks really good. It's got the same cocking action as the original, but I would say be super careful with this hinge as it can snap very easily. And the whole barrel will open up there so you can pop in one of the grenades from the bandoliers, which we'll take a look at. The sight pops up, that's very delicate, so watch out for that. And you get this green canvas strap as well for the to sling it over his shoulder if you're wanting to go for that look. So yeah, nicely sculpted, nicely painted. That's the grenade launcher. You also get the assault rifle. Once again, very well done. Hot Toys past masters at this kind of weaponry, so I would expect nothing less than excellence, and this is looking very good indeed. You've got weathering on the magazine there. It says SR16 M4 there. You've got semi, safe, auto. You've got the strap, which has been attached by elastic, which is good to see. Once again, that's a black nylon. And the paint applications are very, very nice. You've got the metal greys, you've got some blacks going on in there, and overall the whole thing looks very, very effective. And you've got that extendable stock as well, which you come to expect with the weapon from T2. So yeah, that's the rifle. You also get, now this is a new addition for the version 2.0, is this well, I want to call it a grenade launcher, but it's not a grenade launcher. This thing will launch just about anything that you stuff in it, from potatoes to smoke bombs. But yeah, probably best known for the sequence where he's shooting smoke grenades. And yeah, very nicely done. Screen accuracy is there. It's sculpted plastic. Not much by the way of paint applications. You've got a few layers on there to give it that metallic look. You've got a revolving chamber going on here, and overall, yeah, it is screen accurate and it looks the part. So nice inclusion. What else? The bandolier. Nylon bandolier, this goes over the shoulder, and first thing that struck me actually out of the box is the fact that they've used metal here in these clasp sections and these buckle sections. They're all metal, cold to the touch and solid, so nice touch there. And also it's been weathered as well, so you can see there's bullet holes in there, there's frayed edges, and the shells themselves, the grenades themselves, really nicely done. All of these will come out if you want them to come out, and I've taken one out, and yeah, paint application, sculpt, really nice. You've got that sort of copper, brass type look to the body of the shell with that silver band around it, and really nicely weathered. So yeah, you can have as many or as few as you want, or you can have him loading the grenade launchers. So that's the bandolier. You also get the persistent doohickey thrown in. You get the metal spike that the T-1000 uses against the T-800, and I can't see any change here from the 13. This is sculpted plastic, hexagonal, flat, with some paint applications to give it that metallic look, but nice inclusion as well. You also get a neck adapter. This is for the head sculpt that doesn't have the light-up eye feature. There are two. The light-up eye feature one has a battery compartment in there. You simply take a small screwdriver, open it up, 3 button cell batteries which are included. There's an on-off button at the bottom there. Flip that, and the light-up eye feature will work in this head sculpt. So that's the neck adapter. You also get this this swap-out arm. Now, there are 2 silicon arms, seamless silicon arms already on the figure, which is an odd choice for me, but we'll discuss that when we bring the figure out. But this is the swap out battle damaged arm. This isn't silicon, this is a sort of harder plastic. It's not completely solid, there's a little bit of give in it, but overall it's a sturdier affair. And the thing that struck me straight away out of the box is the skin texturing on this. Now, how can I put this? The pores look a little bit large here. It doesn't look as smooth as it should. It looks aged, if that makes sense. I mean, the muscularity is there, the definition in the biceps and the triceps is there. Not an awful lot in the way of vascularity, but the paint applications are pretty good. But yeah, I was just a little bit concerned about the pores there being quite large, but we'll see how it looks on the figure. Down this end, down the business end, obviously you've got that the flesh has been removed there, and you've got those jagged cuts through the skin and the flesh underneath, all highlighted with that wet look blood paint, which is extended onto the arm itself. And then you've got the bits and pieces sticking out of the cyborg arm. These aren't quite as brittle as the ones on the 13. I'm trying to avoid comparisons, but these aren't as brittle, which means hopefully they'll be a little bit more sturdy. But I would say exercise caution. But the sculpt is really nice, and the blood paint application continues up through those pipes and pistons and so on to give it that authentic look. Not articulated at the elbow, this arm, for obvious reasons. So that's the swap out cyborg arm. Let's have a quick look at the jackets before we take a look at the head sculpts. You get 2 jackets. Now, I've taken one of these jackets off the figure. It came on the figure. This is the one that's been bulked out slightly. This one was actually laid flat in the box, just so we can have a look at both of them. I think they are pretty much identical, other than the fact that this one is minus an arm, which has been removed. But yeah, we'll take a look at the one with the arm missing, and straight away, this feels like a quality leather jacket. The leather itself is supple, it's smooth, the graining is correct in there for the scale. It's lined, which is really nice to see. The stitch work is excellent around this the hemline of this jacket, and overall, yeah, very, very nicely done. You've got the 6 scale zips, which look great. The tassels are all in the right place. The belt has been sewn down so it'll fall correctly. It will bend and fall down in the right way. And you've got weathering on here as well. You've got weathering on the collar if the light's picking this up, weathering around the shoulders, weathering down the front seams there, and across the shoulders at the back there and on the seam lines. You've got the tie sections at the waist there for tightening the jacket, and that leather belt's continued with the tassels. The damage on here is great. You've got bullet holes going on, you've got big chunks missing out of the lapels, and you've got the application of that wet look blood paint around the holes as well to give it that extra level of authenticity. And overall, I think they've done a cracking job with these leather jackets. They feel premium, the screen accuracy is there, they look phenomenal, and the cherry on the cake, they smell fantastic as well. So yeah, those are your two leather jackets. The big question, on to the big one, the head sculpts. Now, you get two head sculpts with this particular figure. Now, I have taken this one off the figure prior to doing this section because I wanted to look at both of them. Now, I've got to say, I think this is a phenomenal head sculpt, straight out of the box. I think it's unmistakably Arnie. I think they've done a cracking job here. I had a reservation when I first saw the shots of this head sculpt about the eyes, but we'll get to that. So, the battle damage, really, really nice. You've got that super shiny chrome effect skull coming through the flesh here, which has been damaged, and you've got that wet look paint application again. You've got scratches underneath the cheek area, there are holes, and the blood itself looks very, very good. The main body of the sculpt, the furrowed eyebrows, the flesh tones are really well done, as are those eyebrows. The eyes are the right colour. You've got that 5 o'clock shadow going on. The damage around the left-hand side is minimum, but it's there. The hair itself, now we've lost that ugly seam line that you saw in the DX13 because the PERS system is now accessible from underneath. You've got a foam pad on here to stop it damaging the neck area. And it's simply a case of getting your finger in there and fiddling around, or using the doohickey. I tend to use my finger, but I've got sausage fingers and it can take a while to get it right. I've got the eyes set off here at one angle, and I'm going to try and get them full on. And now I think this is an excellent head sculpt, but without knocking the camera over, let's see if we can't get those eyes looking straight forward. There we go. My issue, and it was with the, I saw it in the initial photos, and I'm seeing it now in hand. Those eyes look ever so slightly wide, too wide. The intenseness of that gaze and how wide his eyes are just looks ever so slightly off. I think everything else is nailed on here. I think the hair is wonderful, the individual strands are picked out, the style is right, the feathering around the ears. I'm just, in hand, not 100% convinced that those eyes aren't ever so slightly too wide. But putting that aside, I think this is a phenomenal head sculpt. The flesh tones, the sculpt, the detailing, the paint applications, absolutely nailed on. I think it's an incredible Arnie head sculpt. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, is it me, or are those eyes slightly too wide? Let's bring in the other one. The more battle damaged one. This one I don't have the same issue with, and you can probably say that's because he's only got one eye. But to me, this one, the eye is slightly narrower, which is more in keeping with Arnie. Arnie looks like he's a bit shocked there. It's as though someone's done something he wasn't quite expecting. But let's take a look at this one. Obviously, more extensive battle damage, more of that skull is visible in that endoskeleton. The eye is obviously visible here, and this is where that neck adapter with the batteries in comes into play. You simply slot it on and the light shines through, and very bright it is too, but we'll see that when we bring the figure out. And you've got the one-eyed PERS system going on in there if you're wanting to move the other eye. Now, I am more sold on this head sculpt than I am on the other one. That eye looks just the right proportions to me, but the battle damage here on the left-hand side is there. You've got those scratches, that 5 o'clock shadow as with the other one. The detailing, you've got that piston in the jawline there, sections of the flesh there that have all been torn. Really, really nicely done. That hair, great again. And you've got that exposed section around the back. And at the risk of comparing and contrasting, not quite as bloody as the 13, but we'll take a look at that in the next video. So yeah, that is the second of the two head sculpts. So pop those to one side, and finally, and I'm going to have to raise the camera up for this because this is one huge diorama base. Let's bring this thing into shot, if it will fit into shot. Those who picked up the T-1000 version 2.0 will recognize parts of this base. It's got the USB-C light up feature, which is great to see. I've already set this up. It comes in pieces. All plastic, this base section. No feet on here. It would have been nice to see some feet on the bottom there, but unfortunately no. The light up section itself is really, really nice to give that sort of molten metal, almost lava type look, and it's coming through this plastic grille is great, which has got this sort of brown paint applications to give it rust. You also get these two railing sections which slot in at the side with the danger black, yellow and black strip across the top. Standard issue crotch grabber in the middle. What really sets this apart is this back section, which just simply slots into the base itself. On the right hand side you've got this sort of girder with the controls for the winch in there. You've got the two functioning handles on the top, really, really nicely done. The paint applications to give it that metallic look on both the railings and the switching mechanism are excellent, they're exemplary. As is this back section. Now this is a really chunky piece of diorama, this back section. As you can see, Hot Toys have even painted around the back here. You've got these paint applications on the back to look like stone, paint applications on this girder section to look like metal, and overall I think they have done a cracking job here. On the front you've got these holes that are gradiated down in paint applications into browns and almost oranges at the bottom to pick out that lighting detail. You've got that rust effect and cracked masonry work on the left hand side. Metal chains, really nicely done. Puts me in mind of the Catwoman or the Bane figure from Hot Toys. And finally this grille in the back. And great to see this grille at the back is metal as well. There's no compressed cardboard here, no corners cut. This is a phenomenal diorama base, there's no getting away from it. So there you have it folks, that's the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out Big Arnie himself, let's get him onto that stand and have a close-up look at him. Okay folks, so here's Arnie. This is not how he comes out of the box because there's a couple of things I wanted to run through first. So I'm not going to do first impressions, but just a couple of things I needed to point out here. So we've taken the jacket off at this point. I'm going to get him off this stand and get him into camera. And the reason for going for this look first, I don't think anybody is going to display this figure like this, but there's a reason behind it. I wanted to take a look at these arms. Now, both the right and the left arms underneath the jacket are made of a silicone, medical grade silicone, which is great to see. However, there is a couple of issues here. The first one being, not quite sure why they've used silicone arms underneath this figure. Now, once the jacket's on and you've got him in a pose, is that silicone going to split and crack over time? I would have probably preferred to have seen jointed arms. Or at least a spare pair of jointed arms included to actually go with this figure, so you can have him in those dynamic poses over a period of time and not worry about that. And they are a little on the slim side as well. They're not really, as you can see there from the side view, they're not up to the full bulk of Arnold in Terminator 2. And I'm suspecting the reason for that is so that the jacket will fit over. The jacket adds bulk, and had the arms been bigger, it would probably have thrown out the proportions a little bit. But an odd choice there to go with seamless arms. Yeah, over time, will they deteriorate? And another thing about these arms as well that I've noticed, I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to sound like a complete whinger here, but it's just there's the pores on these arms, and you can see this. If I can hold these two side by side here, get them in as close as I can. Now, to me, that silicone arm, the smoothness and the texturing of the skin is just right. But this swap out arm, and as you can see here, the bicep is bigger on this one to give it that bulk. But it's the pores yet again on the battle damaged arm. It's clearly the pores are a lot larger. And the skin looks older, whereas on this seamless arm, that isn't an issue. But yeah, odd choice to go with these silicone arms. And while we're here and he doesn't have the jacket on, it's worth mentioning as well, because this is not too visible in the when he's got the jacket on, is this neck area. Now, yeah, he may look a bit giraffe-necked here, and that is, once again, that is down to, I think, the situation regarding the leather jacket. Once that jacket is on, it will cover up an area of the neck, but it's the neck that concerned me. Now I'm going to get this in again here as close as possible. I'm hoping the camera's picking this up and can see the texturing on that neck area is very similar to the battle damaged arm, and it is way too, how can I describe this? It looks like snake skin almost. It looks like lizard skin. I'm not awfully impressed with that, I've got to admit. The texturing on there is just off. It doesn't match the head sculpt. The texturing on the head sculpt is right. It doesn't match the arms because those are right, although they're wrong proportions. What it does match is that overly poured texture on the battle damaged arm. So odd there. Yeah, I'm not awfully keen on that, but that neck is a little bit off to me. But let's get him fully tooled up, fully kitted up, and see how he looks with all the bits and pieces on. So jacket back on and head sculpt swapped, and first impressions of him fully dressed are absolutely incredible. The proportions look absolutely nailed on. I am loving that full leather outfit. The detailing, the screen accuracy is all on point. Loving this diorama base, absolutely excellent. But let's do as we always do. Let's get him off this stand and have a close-up look at him. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. We'll start with the feet, biker boots, all one piece of sculpted plastic. Nice weathering on there. You've got that buckle on there. You've got tread on the bottom as well. I would have liked to have seen maybe a split cut boot design. Not quite sure how that would have worked with biker boots, but yeah, that would have been nice to see as well. And these boots, they're a hard plastic going into a softer plastic. They do form a visible line underneath the leather pants here, which is a little bit. Well, maybe they could have cut these a little bit shorter or made them a little bit thinner up here. That line, not so visible on this right leg, but most certainly on this battle damaged left leg. But yeah, articulation on these feet. Obviously, because there's no split cut boot design, you're going to have very little forward or backward movement, but there is a full range of motion right to left, although I wouldn't recommend it too much because you're going to put pressure on that leather around the knee area where that rip is. So yeah, a bit limited on the articulation there. Onto these pants, full leather. Marvellous to see, absolutely wonderful to see here. Although, as I mentioned before, the DX13, my DX13 anyway, hasn't deteriorated at all, but yeah, leather's always the better option. Loving these zips up the side, they look great. The softness and the texturing of that leather is just as good as the jacket in the pants as well. You've got that huge rip section at the knee there, which exposes the endoskeleton underneath, and that's done really, really well. The articulation there, smooth joint there, which you can see actually working at the knee there, and details being revealed as the leg goes. I'm not going to push this too far back because I don't want to damage this leather in any way, but you've got a lovely smooth motion there and a lot of range going on. The rip itself is really, really well done with those blood paint applications. The exposed endoskeleton is suitably shiny, although daubed with that wet look paint, and the rip in the flesh in that thigh area is superbly done. Really, really is. You've got sections of flesh there that have been torn. You can see where the skin's been ripped, and all covered in that lovely high gloss wet paint application. The stitch work on these leather pants is it's exemplary. I cannot find fault with it. From the seam lines, the concealed seam lines up the side there, to the back there where the pockets are. The detailing on those leather pants is great, with those sort of stripe sections across the thigh and the calf area. And there's some subtle weathering going on here as well, as you can see on the left-hand side here, down where these creases are, these deliberate creases are, which have been accentuated by the paint applications. Moving up, let's talk the legs actually, the articulation in these legs. Now, you've got a ratchet joint going on where it meets the waist. Once again, I'm not going to push this too far, but there's a decent amount of movement there, and there's a swivel as well at the top of the leg. I don't want to put any kind of unnecessary pressure on this leather, but the stitch work in the crotch area, fantastic. Moving up now, we've already looked at the jacket, so we don't need to cover those. What Hot Toys have done is included a leather belt here, which is great. It doesn't sit particularly snugly on top of these trousers. I didn't notice that out of the box. It can tend to ride up a little bit, so may need a bit of futzing, but great to see it's leathered. It's got that texture there, and I believe that buckle in the center there is metal. Great to see. Underneath the jacket, we get our first look at the full battle damage. That t-shirt underneath that grey t-shirt, really well done. Stitch work around the collar, phenomenal. The rips in there have been really nicely done, and underneath you get that huge area of exposed endoskeleton in the chest area, and once again huge lumps of flesh around the sides there. You get a glimpse of the undamaged section through there, but that's got some blood spatter on it. It's been weathered, this t-shirt, with browns, different shades of brown, and also you've got soaked in blood into that t-shirt as well. It's just the level of detailing on that open abdomen and chest wound. Really, really great. And once again, lavishly adorned with lashings of wet look red blood paint application. That is, it's great, absolutely on point. And as I mentioned before there, once you get this jacket on, those issues of proportions around the arm area and around the neck area pretty much disappear. So as I say, we've covered the jacket and we've covered the head sculpts. Now, what I think we should do next actually is go for the full battle damage look and go in for a final verdict on this guy. Okay folks, so fully battle damaged version set up, and time for a final verdict on this guy. But before we do that, a couple of things I forgot to mention in the previous section regarding the articulation. What you've got at the waist here is a ball joint. It's a bit limited. You've got some twist in there. You've got some backward movement. You can probably hear it clicking there. Not an awful lot of forward motion, but definitely a swivel going on. And also at the bicep area there, the bicep joint's got a butterfly joint in it and a bicep swivel as well. Let's get him back on that stand and going for a final verdict. So let's start with the plus points on this guy. The plus points. Let's start with this diorama base. Absolutely fantastic. If you picked up the version 2.0 of the T-1000, you're going to love this. It's great. Love the USB-C powered light up feature with that orange light coming through. Sets off the figure beautifully. The sculpting on here, the paint applications, the addition of this backdrop here with the metal included, the chains and the grille, the switching device, paint applications and concept, brilliant and will look fantastic in the display. So I'm loving the base. The accessories, on point and screen accurate, from the weapons to the bandoliers and the shells, all great, can't be faulted. That outfit, superb, great to see Hot Toys using leather, from the leather pants to the leather jackets, the detailing, everything, the tailoring is on point, not a loose stitch or a dodgy 6-scale stitch to be seen anywhere. Phenomenal. The weathering, the battle damage itself, from the chrome paint used on the exposed endoskeleton to the wounds with the wet look paint applications, the bullet holes in the neck and around the face, all brilliantly done. The downsides, and well, they're not downsides, they're just a few personal niggles. I prefer this head sculpt, the fully battle damaged one. And worth mentioning as well, that LED light up feature, as much as I hate button cell batteries, that eye there is super bright. Probably won't be picking it up that much in this white LED lighting that we use for shooting, but yeah, super bright and super impressive. I'm going to bring in the other head sculpt here. This is one of my niggles. I can't get over these eyes. There's just a little something off here. I've given him some side eye here because to see if that would help, but just a little bit too large for me. But don't get me wrong, I think it's a phenomenal sculpt, as is the fully battle damaged head sculpt. Yeah, just a little bit off for me, that one. But overall, paint applications are great, and the screen accuracy obviously on point. So minor niggle number one is the eyes on that second head sculpt. Minor niggle number two, I would have liked to have seen a split cut boot design on these boots, and maybe have seen them a little bit shorter so you don't get that ugly line appearing underneath the leather pants there. And probably the biggest gripe for me is and it's not visible when you've got this battle damaged arm on. You can't see that that clash between skin textures that you get from the silicone arm to the other arm, the battle damaged arm. But yeah, looks way too pory, if that's such a word. I think these arms look far better, although I'm still bemused about their inclusion. Why include these? You could probably have included a set of jointed arms as well. That would have been great, because even though they are medical grade silicone, these could, and even though they have a nice smooth ratchet joint in there, these can deteriorate over time. So an odd choice as far as the arms go. And probably my biggest niggle, and I'm going to get him off the stand again so you can see this, I keep pointing this out, is that clash there between the texture of the skin on the neck and the texture of the head. It's just completely off to me. It's way too, it's almost like reptile skin on the neck, and it just jars to me It just looks off. It's lost a little bit when you've got it in display, but still, it's an odd choice of why they textured the skin that way. But those are my niggles on this piece. So there you have it, folks. That is Hot Toys' take. Their 2.0 battle damage Terminator from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Scoring on this guy, this is going to be a tough one. I think it is absolutely phenomenal. I think it's an amazing piece. As a centerpiece to anybody's T2 collection, I think it's a must-have. I think if you're a fan of the movie, collector of 1/6 scale figures, it's a no-brainer. Score out of 10. I'm going to give this a 9 and 9.5. 9.5 on a good day, 9 when I am not feeling so benignly disposed towards it. There are just a couple of little niggles there. Biggest one for me, as I've mentioned before, it's the eyes on this head sculpt and the texturing on that neck that throw it for me. But so, yeah, let's go with a 9.5. That feels comfortable. So there you have it, folks. It's a 9.5 for Hot Toys version 2.0 of the Battle Damage T-800. But the big question, the huge question that's hanging over all of us, if you have the DX13, is it worth upgrading? Is this better than the 13? Well, I'm going to leave that for the time being because we're going to do a direct comparison video, as I mentioned before. So there you have it, 9.5. I hope you have enjoyed this review. What are your thoughts on this piece? Do you have it on pre-order? Has it already landed? Do you have the 13? And you're sticking with that? Is this an easy pass? What are your thoughts on the movie itself? What are your thoughts on Hot Toys? What are your thoughts on anything at all? Nothing is off menu. Please drop a comment in the comment section below. I would be fascinated to hear your take on this. And what have we got coming up on the channel? Well, we've got a raft more new figure reviews. We've got stuff from Hot Toys, obviously, from InArt, Susu Toys, Present Toys, Caustic Plastic, X06, Iconic Studios, the list goes on. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the good stuff when it comes up. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is I hope this review's been useful for you. A massive thank you for watching, as always. And until next time on the channel, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.